Hey, it's Leanne with Paper Heart Scissors, and welcome back. And I am going to mix up a bunch of Concord Ninth stamp sets today and make a really fun, cute card with some of my favorite stamps that I have. So I had purchased the You Are Enough set, and I had done a bunch of cards with that, and I had been waiting to get this tree ring background and use the birdie banners and the alphabets. And I was just, thinking about what would be a cute way to use my favorite parts of these. I love that word loved, and I love that little hand-drawn heart in the set as well. The whole thing is great. And I just wanted to mix up these elements because once I got that tree ring, I was so excited. So I actually did a little, I do this a lot. I'll stamp something out on a piece of scratch paper, which is what you saw. And then I'm going to move to the Missy because I need this to be somewhat precise. And I'm using that overlay from the tree ring. And I'm just going to stamp the word love first in chocolate, Simon Says Stamp chocolate brown ink. I'm going to clean that off a little bit so that it doesn't, if I've moved my paper at all, it will not be a problem, but I shouldn't have. And then I'm going to take some Tide Pool ink and some Lake Shores ink. The Tide Pool is from Hero Arts, and the Lake Shores is from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to stamp those banners. And then I cut some little masks for them. So I literally just took some Post-it tape, really simple, stamped them out, and then cut some masks. And I'm going to use, again, that piece of the overlay that comes with the stamp just to kind of position where I might like it to go, and I can see how, make sure I've got it on the block right before I stamp that, because I'm going to put those little birdies holding a banner, holding the strings of the little banner. And the banner is going to say you are. So 4 letters, very simple. I'm cheating a little bit, and I'm going to spell it Y-O-U and just an R, like the little birdies had spelled it out. So I'm just kind of giving myself a little visual cue of where I'm going to put that and where I'm going to draw the banner with pencil. And then I'm going to take my little birdie, and I am going to stamp him in the Hero Arts Tide Pool, in the darker color of pool. And again, I'm just kind of checking to make sure that that's where I want him. And it's fine because I put a line there, but I was being a little bit careful. I didn't want to mess this up. This is a quick video, and I'm doing this live for you. I am not, I didn't pre-make this card, unfortunately. So I cut the little birds out, and I made a little mask for them because I am going to next emboss that tree ring on top of everything. And what's really great is that the sentiment, because I'm just going to use clear embossing powder, so you just get the feeling of that tree ring underneath. And I've got that really nice sentiment without making this a 2-layer card. So whatever sticky ink you like to use, Versamark or Wow or Ranger or Distress will work. And I've got some clear embossing powder here, and I am putting that all over. And notice that, my masks are there, so my birdie and my banners are still going to appear like they are on top of the masking. And then the chocolate brown underneath the tree ring gets a really nice texture on top of it, but it doesn't dull it at all. In fact, it just makes it more interesting. So I'm using my heat gun, and I am melting all of that embossing powder till I get that nice, subtle but shiny tree ring. And it really, I love this. That is a piece of fog cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, and it's a really nice color. You could do this as just a folded 1-layer card. I actually do end up cutting this out and putting it on another card base, but you could certainly just stamp this and let this be a really simple 1-layer mailable card and not have to worry about any crushing or that. So you can see that the banners there are popping off really nicely, and the embossing is beautiful, and you can see that there's the little bit of the shininess going through the letters, but it doesn't impair the vision at all. So as long as you choose to stamp with something darker than what you are going to either be embossing with in clear or the color of the paper, everything will work out fine. So now I'm using the Cantaloupe ink with, Hero Arts Cantaloupe ink with the little banner to stamp that. And then I'm also going to use the Lake Shores. And I'm just going to go back and forth and do a cantaloupe and then a lakeshore and then a cantaloupe and then a lakeshore. And then I will stamp the letters in chocolate brown on top. And I hadn't gotten to actually adding the stamped banner in. And I might have done this beforehand if I was to make this again. And if I had pre-made this and then done it again, I probably would have done that. I'm going to also stamp the inside of the birds with the Lake Shores, and you can see how that dye ink is a little bit cloudy now, but when you look at the final card, it'll all smooth out. It is really beautiful. So I'm going to take the little bows that are included in the banner kit with the little birdies, and I'm going to give them some little bows. And then there's a trick to using the string. I took a orange glaze pen, and I'm just dotting their little beaks, and I'm going to put some little stripes on their tails and their wings, which I was sort of happy with at first, and then I actually corrected that. I didn't like it so plain. Once I had added the color, I felt like I either shouldn't have done that or I needed to color the whole thing, and I didn't want them to be orange. So I used a little Fantastics, and I colored their wings in with some of the cantaloupe dye, and I really didn't like it. So you're going to see my fix at the end. I'm going to use a beautiful chocolate colored Prismacolor to fill in their wings and use a little dub blending tool. So these are the letters, and I just laid them out on the banner bits and then picked them up with a block and then stamped them. And now here's the tricky part. I tried for quite a few minutes to lay down that very thin banner over, and it didn't work. It wouldn't sit on the surface. So the trick is to put it on the block first, and then you can move it around and get it to the shape you want. Then you can ink it up, and then you can stamp it, and it comes out perfectly. So you see me, I'm using the Prismacolor pencil here to color in their little tails and their wings. And what I found out was that the dove blending, the gel glaze pen, the little orange pen that I was using, actually resists the pencil. And that was kind of nice because I got a really nice little brown wing on them and I still got to have the little orange stripes in there, and that turned out perfectly. So that was a happy accident. And then I took the Prismacolor, and I also just put a little edge. I kept going with that, and I put a little edge on each of the banners so that it looked like a slight little drop shadow. And then I am going to, I just fix up the strings there so that that looks good, and you see that I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow on the side of each of those banners. And the chocolate pencil works perfectly with the chocolate stamping. And then I took the dub blending pen, and I just wanted that colored pencil to be really smooth and almost look like ink. And it actually worked perfectly. It did that. And I ran it along the side of those banners too to give it a little bit of the chocolatey color. So I was looking at this, and I was trying to decide what color of cardstock to mount it on, and if I was going to trim out the edges. And you can see I used a pierced die, and I made a panel out of it. And you know, it was really too big. I wanted it to have air to breathe, but it wasn't showing enough of a border. I thought it would look really great on a piece of chocolate cardstock or craft. and it wasn't working for me. I don't know. So what I decided to do was cut it out and then mount it as one large layer on the front of another card. Really easy, fussy cutting on this, not terribly hard to cut a circle. And I just left a really nice, it almost looks like it was die cutter that I have the die, but I left about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around the edges so that it feels very clean and airy. It doesn't feel tight. And because it was really all on this color of cardstock, I also didn't color the edges. But I did decide to put a little chocolate brown drop shadow of that tree ring below it as well, just to give it a little shadow. So how I did that was I put the tree ring on back on my stamp. I made some little marks and I just offset it. I moved it down and to the right just a little bit of where those marks were. And it doesn't matter that that impression's not perfect because, as you can see, I wanted it to fall off to the left. So that's going to get covered up anyway. And just used a bunch of adhesive foam strips, making sure to kind of go as deep as I could into the sides so that when I mail this, it will not get smashed. And I pressed that down and erased all my little pencil marks. And there you go. And then I decided that I wanted to add some glossy accents to the little bird's eyes, their beaks, and their tails and wings. And then I also did the banners as well. And you could add shimmer underneath that and that would be really sweet as well. I didn't. I was kind of rushing through here, but as I look at it now, it's like, oh, I could have made that sparkly and, cover all the things with glitter. More of that. I love the sparkle. I did add some rose gold sequins to the card as well. It matched the cantaloupe ink on that cardstock really beautifully. I think it just makes it a little more feminine. You could use chocolate brown or even just clear or water droplets as well. And these don't look as pink as they do in the video as they do in real life, but you can look at the final card and you can see that they're definitely rose gold. And those are from Pretty Pink Posh. They're fabulous. I love that color. So that is the card. And then I also doctored up the envelope a little bit. You'll see that in the final photo of the card. It was so fun to make this. Just get creative and mix up my stamps a little bit. Pull some things out that you don't necessarily think go together, and I bet you can figure out a way to use them in a whole brand new way. So I really enjoyed making this for you. I hope you were inspired and that you will subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to showing you another video. Here's the final card with a little envelope using the same stamps. And please visit me on my blog or on Instagram as well. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.